Bullied Kid Prepares for Ice Age. Yang Mi tries to look for food on the shelves but says, "Strange, why can't I find anything?" Suddenly, Zhang Yi blows on her ear, startling her. Yang Mi exclaims, "Whoa, what are you doing? Didn't we agree not to act like this?" "What if we're discovered?" Zhang Yi responds, "What's the big deal? Just teasing you." "All right, continue cooking." He places food on the table from his secret dimension and asks, "Are these ingredients sufficient?" Yang Mi is amazed. "Oh wow, where did you get all of this? Chicken, duck, sea bass, pork, abalone, sea cucumber, and dried scallops." Zhang Yi declares, "From now on, we'll always eat like this at home." Yang Mi questions, "Really? Isn't it a bit extravagant?" Zhang Yi taps Yang Mi's butt and reassures her, "Don't worry. You focus on your tasks for now. I'll explain everything to you later." He continues to massage her buttocks. A few hours later, Yang Mi shouts, "Dinner's ready, come and dig in." Zhang Yi and Dr. Zhou Kier walk to the dining table. Zhang Yi says, "Come on, let's see how the cooking skills of a big actress taste." Dr. Zhou Kier looks angry. Yang Mi looks at Dr. Zhou Kier and thinks to herself, "What happened just now?" Kier shouldn't have noticed, right? "There's too much salt in the food," Yang Mi thinks. "How are we supposed to eat this? I was startled by him just now, and it's indeed difficult to control the seasoning properly." Zhang Yi looks at Yang Mi and thinks, "Great, with your cousin not being fully cooperative, I can comfortably reap the benefits." He takes a shrimp and offers it to Dr. Zhou Kier, saying, "Here, try this. It tastes great and will nourish your body." Dr. Zhou Kier opens her mouth and eats the shrimp, commenting, "It's... what you're feeding me is still tasty. A bit too much, though." She looks at Yang Mi. Yang Mi suddenly looks away, feeling jealous, and eats her rice. Zhang Yi says, "Then eat some more," and continues to feed Dr. Zhou Kier. Zhang Yi thinks to himself, "Indeed, going through the job application process is the best way to boost employee motivation." A few hours later, at night, while Zhang Yi and Dr. Zhou Kier are in bed, Dr. Zhou Kier asks, "Zhang Yi, who do you think is better, her or me?" Zhang Yi replies, "Silly, of course it's you. How could she even compare to you? You're my sweet doctor. She's just an actress, and I'm just playing along for the moment." He pinches Dr. Zhou Kier's cheeks. Dr. Zhou Kier says, "But it seems to me like you two are in a drama series." Zhang Yi holds Dr. Zhou Kier's hands, kisses her forehead, and says, "Silly, don't overthink it. How could you doubt your place in my heart?" They hug, and Dr. Zhou Kier says, "I knew all along that you love me the most." Zhang Yi thinks to himself, "Love? What's the point of it? Everyone just takes what they need. Love is merely a sickness that makes people lose their essential rationality." A few days later, at the firing range, Zhang Yi practices with his crossbow and hits the target perfectly, the sound of the arrow like a gunshot. He looks at the target and says to himself while taking out his phone, "It wasn't a voice message, but rather a phone call? Could it be that someone I know is still alive and can only contact me by phone?" He cancels the call. Zhang Yi says, "No way. And even if it is someone I know, I wouldn't care. Block them, block them." Suddenly, his phone rings again. He exclaims, "How is this number still able to call after being blocked? What's going on? This is too eerie. I absolutely can't respond. Maybe I didn't block it correctly earlier, so it didn't work. It can't be that mysterious." A few seconds later, his phone rings again. He is shocked and says, "Damn, what's going on? Hold on. How did it connect on its own?" He picks up the phone and puts it on speaker. The person on the other end says, "Why aren't you answering my calls?" Zhang Yi thinks to himself, "Calm down. If the other person is a hacker, it's possible." He asks, "Who are you?" The person responds, "Zhang Yi from Jinwan District, Tianhai City, living in room of building in Yulu community, born in 2025, turning 25 this year." Zhang Yi thinks, the person on the other end must be a top-notch hacker. How much more does he know? The voice continues, "I also know that you're currently staying in room of Yonke Manor. That property belongs to Wang Siming, and you already killed him, right?" Zhang Yi demands, "Who are you? And what's your purpose in contacting me?" The voice replies, "Me, I'm your current neighbor. I live in Yonke Manor. But you better not have any ulterior motives, or else I can expose your information at any time." Zhang Yi retorts, "Expose me? What's the point of it? Just because you have some leverage, you think I'll run errands for you? I'm not some very important person. and exposing my information isn't a big deal. If you're not afraid to take the risk, feel free to expose it, the voice replies. Oh, then what do you think will happen if people find out you have the missing goods from the Chang'an warehouse? Zhang Yi thinks. How did he find out about this? He responds, what are you saying? Losing goods from such a large warehouse is a significant incident. Do you really think I, a small supervisor, could have done it? Zhang Yi retorted. Lu Fonga replied, you don't need to play these tricks with me. That warehouse incident definitely has something to do with you. With a warehouse that big, even if you just took one shelf, it would be enough for you to use for a year. Even if you weren't the mastermind, you must have a large amount of goods in your hands now. I'm not afraid to tell you my name. Lu Fonga from Jiyun Group. You've heard of that name before, haven't you? Zhang Yi was shocked and thought to himself, Lu Fonga? The foremost figure in the domestic information sector. It's him, Lu Fonga, the chairman of Jiyun Group, the foremost figure in the domestic information sector. The Jiyun Group he built single-handedly is also one of the 3 strongest enterprises in the field of information security in China. Zhang Yi continued to think, someone like him cracking my phone would be a piece of cake. Wait a minute, something's not right. If he can manipulate my phone, then the entire shelter must be controlled by supercomputers. Could it have been hacked? No, that's unlikely. He's trapped here now and doesn't have the equipment to hack into the shelter's control room server. If he did, he wouldn't need to call me to show off. Zhang Yi said, so it's Mr. Lu. I've heard a lot about you. No wonder you could hack into my phone. Lu Fonga said, for survival's sake I had no choice but to do it. Zhang Yi, you have plenty of supplies at your disposal. Since you can support 2 women, adding 1 more shouldn't be a problem. As long as you provide me with the necessities to sustain life, I'll help you keep this secret. Plus, I can assist you in maintaining network security so you won't be hacked again. What do you think? Zhang Yi replied. Mr. Lu, please don't joke like this. Do you really think a small supervisor like me has that kind of capability? Lu Fonga retorted. Zhang Yi, I've lived for many years and witnessed more than you can imagine. Do you think I would make such a claim without evidence? Let me tell you, I can gather a lot of information about you through your phone. You must have the goods missing from the warehouse in your hands. Zhang Yi, angry, thought to himself, damn you. I'll make sure you pay for this. He then said, I do have some goods on hand, but most of them have been sold for cash. After all, my place isn't spacious enough to store too much. Lu Fonga replied, that doesn't matter. Once I leak the information, your days won't be as pleasant. So, do you agree to my request? Zhang Yi thought to himself, this guy does have the capability to leak the information. Letting it go unchecked could lead to unforeseen consequences. If those still surviving in the apocalypse find out about the supplies, or even my space ability, it could be trouble. Zhang Yi then said to Lu Fonga, okay, I can provide you with some supplies, but you must absolutely not leak any information about this matter. In case you have any ulterior motives, I'll kill you first. Lu Fonga said, don't worry, I'm not foolish either. This matter is known to the heavens and the earth. You know it, and I know it. Let's cooperate happily. I need food, liquor, as well as underwear and cotton socks. Bring me these things? Zhang Yi asked. How should I deliver those supplies to you? Lu Fonga replied, I live in Villa 302, simply drop the supplies off at my doorstep. Don't try to play tricks with me, or I'll leak your information. You won't have a peaceful life then. Zhang Yi said, don't worry, I'm living a very comfortable life now, and I don't want to cause trouble for myself. After the call ended, Zhang Yi thought to himself, that Lu Fonga must die. There's absolutely no other possibility. A few moments later, Zhang Yi went to the living room and drank a whole glass of vodka. He then said to Dr. Zhou Kier, there's something I want to discuss with you. Dr. Zhou Kier responded, sure, what is it? Zhang Yi explained, well, it seems someone has found out about our current location. You've had more dealings with people like this than I have. He's currently using the leverage he has against us to threaten us. In your view, what do you think his ultimate move will be? Dr. Zhou Kier hugged a pillow and said, I have indeed come across some of these people. They might not be as infallible as most people imagine, but their intelligence is unquestionably very high. Furthermore, their moral standards are very low. Someone with very high moral standards cannot become a successful businessman. Zhang Yi said, of course I understand that. I want to kill him, but I'm afraid he might have some contingency plans, which is why I don't dare to act. But letting him live means I'll be continuously blackmailed by him. This is something I absolutely cannot tolerate. Dr. Joker said, the paramount threat to you is his possession of your information. If that data were to be exposed, it could be very harmful to you, right? Zhang Yi replied, that's right. Dr. Joker said, that would indeed be troublesome. I've heard before about collusion between executives of internet companies and corrupt officials. After things went south, officials would send someone to silence the executives. However, eventually, the evidence held by that executive was leaked directly on the internet. Zhang Yi said, I think I've heard about this too. The internet tycoon stored the evidence on a cloud drive and set up a program to automatically distribute it online. Unless he personally intervenes every day, the program will continue to operate. So if he dies, the evidence will automatically leak across the internet the next day. Dr. Joe Keir said, that's exactly what worries me the most. In other words, even if you kill him, we might still be unable to prevent our information from being leaked. Dr. Joe Keir hugged Zhang Yi and said, if you can't think of a solution right now, just take a break. There's no rush with this matter. We can string him along for now and then slowly devise a plan. Zhang Yi said, delaying won't do us any good. The crucial point is, if we can't come up with a solution to this problem, it leaves us feeling frustrated and anxious. Yang Mi suddenly arrived after gardening and asked, is something wrong? Zhang Yi said, oh, good timing. Let's brainstorm together and come up with a plan. Yang Mi sat on the sofa and said, handling this is quite a challenge. He's exceptionally cunning and surely anticipates any actions you might take against him. This is what they call spreading rumors with their mouths and debunking them until they run out of legs. We in the entertainment industry have also suffered from it. It's truly infuriating. Zhang Yi said, hold on a second. Did you just mention spreading rumors? Yang Mi said, yeah, isn't him spreading your information to others just like those unscrupulous media in the entertainment industry spreading rumors about celebrities? Dr. Joker said, the main point here is that even if it's just a rumor, once it comes out of his mouth, some people will surely believe it. Zhang Yi said, Lu Fonga holds information about me. However, this information doesn't constitute concrete evidence. Yet if it gets out, it could still cause trouble for me. I can't stop him from leaking the information, especially since we don't have experts in this field. However, if we treat this matter as spreading rumors, then there might be a way after all. Dr. Joker and Yang Mi asked, what are you going to do? Zhang Yi said, I need to go prepare first. I'll let you know once I'm ready. A few minutes later, at the command center of the mansion, Zhang Yi called Lu Fonga. Lu Fonga answered, hey Zhang Yi, are all my things ready? Zhang Yi said, why the rush? Do you think I have a surplus of supplies? If it weren't for you holding something over me, I'd definitely kill you. Lu Fonga said, you idiot. If you kill me, you won't have a peaceful life. Listen carefully, it's in your best interest not to mess with me. Once I'm killed, within 24 hours, your information will be automatically sent to every phone in Tianhai City. Just imagine how severe the consequences will be. Zhang Yi thought to himself, oh, so it's within 24 hours. That must be the deadline he set up before Lu Fonga contacted me. He then told Lu Fonga, you're tough. Just you wait, I'll deliver it. After ending the call, Zhang Yi said, the premise of spreading rumors is to muddy the waters. Zhang Yi pretended to know how to use a computer and typed quickly on the keyboard. He created articles on the internet during the Ice Age, such as, the mystery of the Southern warehouse theft has been confirmed. It was an inside job, with personnel stealing and transporting the goods back to the country in advance. Where did the billions worth goods from the Southern warehouse go? According to witnesses, armed forces appeared that night, transporting them very secretly. The police remained tight-lipped about the incident. Unveiled, the largest theft case in Tianhai City directly related to the recent snow disaster. Witnesses spotted a UFO. Zhang Yi thought to himself, to bury the truth, the best way is to bury it among a pile of lies. Even if I can't fool everyone, I can certainly make most people believe that it's all rubbish. And those messages from Lu Fonga, buried within this heap of fake news, naturally won't be trusted either. By doing so, it significantly reduces the risk of me being discovered. He started to upload these articles to the computer and said to himself, only people within Tianhai City are likely to come here in the current frozen environment and pose a threat to me. That's about all I can do for now. I've done what I can in terms of preparation. Whether it will succeed or not, well, that's up to fate. There's also Lu Fonga without a doubt. That guy has to die. A few minutes later, Zhang Yi arrived at the doorstep of Lu Fonga and put the goods in front of the door. He thought to himself, that guy should be living here. He then walked away with his rifle and positioned himself on the snow, thinking, don't be too impatient, let's just observe the situation. He looked through his scope and positioned himself, thinking, this distance is just right. When Lu Fonga comes out to collect the supplies, I'll shoot and take him down. Zhang Yi sent a message to Lu Fonga saying, the supplies have been left at your door. He waited for a while and thought to himself, it's been so long, why is there still no movement? Zhang Yi thought to himself, could it be that the old geezer hasn't seen the message? He took out his phone and continued, no way, I can't call him from here. If I call or send a message again, it'll reveal my location, indicating that I know he hasn't retrieved the supplies. Let's wait a bit longer. He'd risk his life to contact me and get the supplies. He won't stay inside, unless he's already dead. A few minutes later, the house was instantly converted into a wooden cabin. Zhang Yi said, he's out. Finally, I've been waiting for this. As Lu Fonga was about to get the bag, Zhang Yi whispered, right now, and pulled the trigger. Lu Fonga, excitedly holding the bag, was instantly put to sleep forever. Zhang Yi rushed towards Lu Fonga and said, success. All that time I spent crouching in the snow wasn't in vain. He sealed the deal by putting additional holes in Lu Fonga's body and said, old geezer, you asked for this. Zhang Yi went inside and saw the old laptop. It's here, he exclaimed. He was about to shoot the laptop but then reconsidered. Wait, there might be valuable data on Lu Feng's laptop. It would be a waste to destroy it. I'll store it in my different space. The information inside can't be sent out either. With the laptop secured, Zhang Yi said to himself, now it's up to fate. Let's go back now and spread some news across the internet. Even if information about me leaks, I must sow confusion and doubt, making them unable to suspect me. A few hours later, Zhang Yi arrived at his mansion. Dr. Joker greeted him. Zhang Yi, what have you been doing in there for so long? You must be hungry since you haven't eaten for a while. I've made some beef whip and kidney stew and a pot of chicken soup for you. It's all heating up on the stove, so come and have some. Zhang Yi replied, okay, I am a bit hungry. Have any of you gotten any messages on your phones? Yang Mi showed her phone and said, yes, there are some. Look, Dr. Joker added, they're a mess. Several messages popped out of nowhere. I have no idea what they mean. Yang Mi said, it feels like they're trying to hide something. Zhang Yi said, that's exactly it. Those are fake news I spread. He thought to himself, within the next 48 hours, numerous messages will be gradually sent to the social forums of Tianhai City and to everyone's phones. Earlier at the command center of the mansion, Zhang Yi realized, since I can't completely stop Lu Fonga from sending out the information on the internet, I'll use a flood of useless messages to cover up the truth. Dr. Zhou Kier said, but won't this strategy raise even more suspicion? Yang Mi said, indeed. Stirring up this topic out of nowhere could easily catch people's attention. Zhang Yi explained, drawing attention is inevitable anyway. Whether I send out these messages or not, Lu Fonga will surely do it. Hence, spreading these fake news can muddle the situation with the abundance of information in today's world. I doubt anyone would have the time or energy to sift through it all to determine what's genuine. Moreover, compared to the prominent organizations and businesses mentioned in the messages I've circulated, the likelihood of me being personally implicated in the crime has diminished significantly. Yang Mi said, indeed, this strategy is quite good. It's like in our entertainment industry when someone gets caught up in a scandal, but as soon as a bigger star faces trouble, the previous issue quickly fades from people's minds. She thought to herself, seems like he's not only good-looking and talented, but also quite smart. Dr. Zhou Kier said, but all these messages were sent from your computer. Wouldn't someone be able to track the IP address and quickly find you? Zhang Yi silently ate. Dr. Zhou Kier continued, I didn't mean it like that. Considering there are probably not many survivors left in Tianhai City now, and even fewer who understand how to trace IP addresses. So, Zhang Yi, your method is indeed very successful. Zhang Yi replied, unless we regress to a fully primitive society or live like primitive humans, it's impossible to completely hide our traces. I never expected to completely hide from everyone's scrutiny, but doing so at least prevents the vast majority of people from directly suspecting me. Furthermore, encountering organizations with strong network capabilities is unavoidable. He thought to himself while looking at an old fishbowl, and I've long been prepared for that. If it weren't for Lu Fonga, this day would have arrived much later. He then ate the old fishbowl and said, first of all, I don't like being threatened, so it's necessary to get rid of Lu Fonga. And even though I hate having my location discovered, with this shelter, no one can endanger our safety unless they come with top-tier military power. Yang Mi said, "Hearing you say that we can rest easy." Zhang Yi said, "Don't get too excited yet. Even though I'm confident in protecting this place, you can't just sit around." Yang Mi was shocked. Zhang Yi thought to himself while looking at Yang Mi, "Geez, I'm talking seriously here. Where's her mind going?" He tapped Yang Mi on the head and said, "What are you thinking? I mean, you guys need to help me set up traps." Yang Mi and Dr. Joker said, "Traps?" Zhang Yi explained, "The defensive capabilities of this shelter are extraordinary. It was constructed to withstand nuclear warfare or major natural disasters. However, it falls short in dealing with human threats, but that's understandable given the strict weapon regulations here. As a result, the shelter isn't outfitted with sufficient counterattack weaponry. I plan to set up a tight network of traps around the shelter. If anyone dares to target us, they won't make it out alive." Dr. Joker said, "Zhang Yi, if there's anything I can help with, just say the word." Yang Mi added, "I don't know much about traps, but I'll do whatever task you assign." Zhang Yi stood up and said, "All right then." He took out some traps from his secret dimension and explained, "In this snowy landscape, traps are the hardest to detect once they're set up. I'll explain how to do it. Listen carefully, especially when it comes to remembering the locations of the traps. It would be a huge problem if we accidentally triggered our own traps. Nails scattered on the ground won't hurt anyone, so we need to fix them to wooden boards. That way, once buried in the snow, they'll pierce right through the soles of anyone's feet. You need to use these along with steel nails. Steel nails have better penetration while screws increase the damage. Do you understand? We need to make at least 1,000 of these nail traps. If we run out, we'll make more later. Scatter them around the villa within 100 meters. You've probably seen these traps on TV and in Home Alone before. If a wolf pup gets caught in one, its leg might even get snapped off. If a person gets caught, it can pierce right through flesh and hurt bone. In other words, it can instantly incapacitate someone. Placement is crucial. If placed on the outer perimeter, they might be prodded with sticks by someone checking. So, they need to be placed within the inner circle of the nail board traps. You guys just need to handle these 2 types of traps. I'll take care of the rest." Dr. Joker and Yang Mi started to prepare the traps. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi thought to himself, "There are 2 access points from the outside leading here, both of which are unavoidable paths. Previously, I found 2 detonating mines in the arsenal which can be buried in the middle of the 2 unavoidable paths. So when we go out later, we need to be careful to avoid them. They're powerful enough to destroy tanks and armored vehicles, let alone humans." Zhang Yi told them, "The first time these traps are used, their effectiveness is at its peak. But if someone clears the nail boards with tools, we'll have to figure something out." The 3 of them went outside and Zhang Yi said, "The nail boards shouldn't be placed too loosely. The best outcome is when someone steps on a nail board, falls down, and then gets impaled by another one. If it impales the chest, face, or neck, it can instantly kill someone. The nail boards don't need to be buried too deep, just enough to cover them. Since it's still snowing, the trap's traces will be completely erased later." Zhang Yi dug the snow and placed landmines, hiding them under the snow. He thought to himself, "When it snows again, this place will be completely clean. Next up, I just have to set up devices to prevent the enemy from clearing the traps." He continued, "Set up a layer of pull grenade traps on the outer perimeter. This way, whether they kick the steel wires or trigger them with tools, it will set off an explosion." Zhang Yi said, "At this point, it should be almost done." The 3 of them went back into the mansion, and Zhang Yi thought to himself, with traps on the outer perimeter, the 10-meter-long passage inside the shelter, and the hypnosis gas, tear gas, and high-temperature flamethrowers that can melt steel at over 1,000 degrees Celsius, these are all my trump cards. As for the last line of defense, that's me." A few minutes later, Yang Mi asked, "Zhang Yi, when do you think the enemy will come?" Zhang Yi replied, "I wouldn't mind if all this effort turned out to be in vain, but it seems like you're eager for someone to attack us. However, it probably won't happen anytime soon. Anyone with a bit of brain wouldn't rush into attacking others at a time like this. People who've survived to this point aren't to be underestimated." Yang Mi said, "I get it now. Now, I don't know if it's better for someone to come and fall into our traps, or if we should just continue living peacefully like this." Suddenly, she heard some noise and saw Zhang Yi reinforcing the door. "What are you doing? Aren't these 2 heavy metal doors secure enough?" Zhang Yi explained, "The majority of areas in this villa are automated. In other words, if someone can hack into our control center, they can easily open these 2 doors." Advancements in technology can sometimes come with significant drawbacks. However, the fundamental principles of physics remain steadfast and reliable. Zhang Yi finished putting bolt locks on the door and said, "It's done. It's important to cover all bases in everything after all. Better safe than sorry." Yang Mi thought to herself while looking at Zhang Yi. Though he might take shortcuts in his methods, he'll certainly outlast the average person. Zhang Yi remarked, "It would be great to have a skilled computer expert here." Yang Mi replied, "Xingxin is quite proficient in this regard." Unfortunately, Zhang Yi asked, "What's wrong?" Dr. Zhou Care explained, "Isn't Xingxin studying in Tianhai City? Do you know how she's doing now? Is she still alive?" She continued, "Xingxin is Yang Mi's cousin, studying at Tianqing Academy. At 16, she had already won numerous international awards in the field of computer science and is secretly a top-tier hacker. Although she became paralyzed from the waist down due to polio in her childhood, and has since relied on a wheelchair for mobility. When it comes to finding someone trustworthy and knowledgeable in the field of computers, there's no one better suited than her," Zhang Yi asked. "So, where is she now? Can you find her?" Yang Mi replied, "She's been out of touch for so long. After the snow disaster, I tried reaching out to her, but there's been no response." Zhang Yi said, "Given her capabilities, if she's still alive, she should be able to find a way to get in touch with you. If she can't, then it can only mean, could it be that she's simply ignoring you?" Yang Mi, angered, retorted, "What's wrong with you? Why would you say that?" Zhang Yi continued, "After all, you see, everyone in your family is a genius, way smarter than you. If there's danger, who would come to you for help?" Yang Mi got angrier and said, You're terrible." Zhang Yi thought to himself, if that girl named Yang Xingxin is still alive, having her join my team could be a good option. After all, she's paralyzed, so she poses little threat to me. Zhou Qi and Yang Mi are both so beautiful, and Yang Xingxin is their sister. Can her looks be any less? Ah, what a shame, what a shame. Yang Mi asked, "So, what's our next step?" Zhang Yi said, "Next, there's only one thing left for us to do, and that's to wait." Before we wrap up today's video, I just wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you who has supported this channel by hitting the subscribe button and leaving those fantastic likes. Your encouragement means the world to me. Now, I've noticed that we have an incredible 83.9% of viewers who haven't yet hit that subscribe button, and only 16.2% who have. To those of you who haven't subscribed yet, but enjoy what you see, I'd like to extend a warm invitation to join our wonderful community by subscribing. Your support helps fuel the creation of more content that you love. And to all of my subscribers, you're the backbone of this channel, and I can't thank you enough for your loyalty and enthusiasm. Remember, if you're enjoying the content and want more, hitting that subscribe button is the best way to show your support. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you, and I mean it when I say I love you all. If you're interested in knowing the title, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Until next time, take care and keep spreading those positive vibes.